Good morning. We are recording on YouTube. It's been a hot minute since I've been here, but I know I need to get better. I'm working on it. That's all I can say. So this morning I spent the last hour and a half trying to find my sample card. Couldn't find it. Still have no clue where it's at. So I have all the things stamped and I have everything ready to go. We used Light the Year and Countryside Corners. This one is in the annual catalog, still available for a bundle, I believe. I hope I'm not wrong. Let me look here. Countryside Corners, page 122 in the annual catalog. The dies are still available. Not sure about the stamp set, but apparently this was 2 years ago. So hopefully you had a chance to get it. If not, you can still get the dies. The dies cut out each, whatever this is, octagon for you. Okay. And then Light the Year is also a bundle, and it comes with dies as well. So, like I said, I can't find my sample. So we are totally winging it today. I know that I also used Reindeer Fun, the die set. In Reindeer Fun, I used this die here. Okay, so that's another one that we used. Sorry, my dog is barking because, you know, I'm recording. All right, so I am going to, here is my card base. And I'm going to, before I get too far in, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the back using VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. This ink is not sold by Stampin' Up, but it is my favorite when it comes to sentiments. So it's usually nice and clear and crisp, and I just love it. All right, so there's that, and then we're going to turn it around. And I have this embossed piece. I think this was Smoky Slate. We're going to go ahead and, like I said, I cleaned my stuff this morning, so I've moved stuff around, so I might be fumbling a little bit. I'm going to take, I believe I took and I rubbed the ink pad on that. So let me grab my Smoky Slate ink pad. And I just lightly rubbed the ink pad. Boy, that's not rubbing very nicely. It wants to stick to the paper because it's so juicy. All right, so just to give it a little bit of texture there. Okay. Then I'll take my water and just clean that off so I don't get that on anything else. Okay. Now I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to glue it on the front. And, you know, I use art glitter glue. Barely Art Glue is another one. And Tombow is good, but I really like the precision tips that you can get with the Barely Art Glue. And I just refill my bottle. I feel like it's less expensive. A lot of people say that Barely Art is cheaper than Art Glitter Glue, but I have 2 or 3 refill bottles of Art Glitter Glue, so until that's gone, I don't plan on switching. All right, and then we stamped this. We stamped All Is Bright in the Smoky Slate. We stamped the lantern, the large lantern in this set, using black right here. And then we stamp the candle. And I'm going to, before I put that candle on, I am going to actually color it. And I have a blending brush that has yellow on it, so I'm just going to use that to kind of give a little glow. So this color, I'm just using my Stampin' Right marker. That is Daffodil Delight, and then I'm just going to use whatever ink I still have on that brush just to give it a little bit of a glow, okay? Now I'm going to take and I'm going to pop this up. Flip that over, grab my roll of tape here. Because I like to cover the back because I don't want want it to collapse in the middle when it goes out in the mail, right? So I always put a good amount of foam tape on the back. All right, there we go. And I'm gonna center that just like so. All right, so that's the first part of the front of the card. Then on this strip, you can see I've already stamped all the things. I'm going to cut this bundle of greenery out. Now, there are no dies for the greenery. And so this one is a combination of these two, just first and second generation stamped, just to give it some fullness. Now, with the greenery, thankfully, it is just greenery, right? So we can just quickly, it doesn't have to be perfect because, you know, it's just greenery. All right. I want to say that I had a bow on here. So I'm going to have to probably find my ribbon, which is probably not too far away. I've been doing a lot of Christmas crafting, so my ribbon is in a basket, or I already put it away. So let's hope for the latter and that I already put it away, and so it's easy to find. All right, so we're going to just set that there. And I'm going to glue this flat because, and I'm only putting glue on the bottom part because, oh, I can go higher up. I'm going to put an actual bow on that here shortly. There, I did put my ribbon away. So I'm just going to tie a little bow quickly here. Struggling with that bow. Let's try again and not think so hard, because bows are not that hard for me to do. I think I was just putting too much thought and it just wasn't working out, right? You ever do that? Okay. All right, so there's my little bow. Throw my ribbon back in there. And I am going to grab a glue dot. Here, there we go. I'm going to put a glue dot. And I like to also add a little liquid glue to help keep that bow on. Okay, now that's the front of the card. Okay. We'll go ahead and fold it. Look for my bone folder. This will work. Okay. Now we're going to take these other pieces and we're going to start with our brick piece, and our brick piece gets glued right here. Okay. It gets glued on the top half of the inside of this card. And, you know, the paper is two-sided, so if you want to use a wood grain piece or whatever, you can certainly do that. Okay. Then, before I get too far, I stamped "Wishing you peace, joy, and light" on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And I also did that in Smoky Slate. And I'm going to stamp it a little lower than I normally would because the inside is a pop-up that we have to install. And I want to make sure there's plenty of room for that, okay? There we go. All right, so I have this piece here. I'm going to pop out my little pieces that aren't. So this piece measures 4 1/4 by 6 1/2. And what I did was I scored on the 6 1/2 inch side, I scored at every 1/2 inch 4 times. Okay, that's going to create a box so that this panel will pop up inside your card. Okay. So again, that was 4 1/4 by 6 1/2, scored 4 times every 1/2 inch. And before I mount this, I do need to do a little bit of stamping. So let me grab Mossy Meadow. Here we are. And I have some used up sticky notes here, so I'm just going to put that under there so that and you can really, you know, you can do a combination of this greenery, or you can just use one. I think it looks fine either way. So I'm just going to mount that on there. And I'm just going to stamp it twice. And then stamp it twice again. And maybe just another little something there, just to give it some greenery. Okay, just like that. Now, for the rest of the images, we will be die cutting these out. So I'm going to just set this aside with this, and I'm going to grab my mini die cut machine. I love this one because it does grip to my table. I'm grab my plates here. And I am going to, so I stamped the bow twice. I think I'm going to use the lighter one because you can see the detail. And I'm not going to use the darker one. All right, so I'm going to have to run this through twice because I only have one pine cone die. So I'm going to do the bow and the pine cone, and then I'll do the lantern and the other pine cone. All right, so here is the bow, and here is the pine cone. And I'm going to use some of this removable tape by Scotch. Now, I find that this is the best tape ever because it does not tear your paper or tear your image. If you get if you stick it over your image, it doesn't even tear that. Like, it is amazing. This is my 3rd roll. I have never bought a 3rd roll of anything that's on the market because it never works like it says. This works like I'm saying. So, and I get this removable tape on Amazon. All right, so this is the first one. So there's our first pine cone. and our little bow. And then I'm done with the bow, so I'm going to save that tape to use on the lantern. Here is the lantern. Oh, I noticed that I have not colored the light or the flame, so I'm going to just do that real quick since it's sitting right here. Add a little glow, and we're golden. You do want to make sure that if you are stamping the light or the candle and then adding the glow, you need to make sure that your black ink is dry. So give it a minute, come back to it towards the end, because otherwise you will smear the black ink into the yellow and then it looks like a dirty glow. All right, so here we are. There is my last pine cone and my lantern. Sit those back in the case. Throw my scraps away. All right, so here we go. I'm going to bring this card back. And I'm going to grab my silicone mat here because we are going to be doing a little bit of gluing here on the edge. So I'm going to put glue on here, right in the center there. And I'm going to take this piece and I'm just going to stick it down. Okay, just like that. Because I want it to be up here to be floating. Now everything on here is going to be glued flat. So now I'm going to take my 2 pine cones and glue them just like so. And then I'm going to take my red bow and I'm going to glue it right in the middle. There we go. Perfect. All right, so I used my mat so I didn't get glue on my glass surface here. And now I'm going to take my white, and where it's scored, I'm going to score it or fold it on all those score lines the same direction because I want to make a box. Okay, so it'll look like this. Okay, see that? All right, so we are going to bring this back over here. Feel like there we go. All right, so there's our box. Okay, so I have it folded so it looks like a box, right? Okay, so this piece here, so I have 2 folds and I have 1 here. Okay, I'm going to just fold this over, and I'm just going to take some liquid glue here. And then I'm going to fold on the second score line. Okay, just like that. So I have 1 here and then the big spot. And when I flip it over, I have 2. Okay, and I'm going to give that a second before I try to manipulate it. Otherwise, it will just pop off. Okay, now I'm going to also fold it back the other way because we want this to be able to fold flat both ways. So it's like this and then it's like this, okay? Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to line it up with the fold, okay? Just lining it up with the fold. Did you see that? This one edge is sticking out just a hair. So I'm just, before I glue it in there, I'm going to take my trimmer and I'm going to shave it just a hair. And hopefully that hair will be enough. I'll just set it aside here so that when I stick this in here and I fold it, oh, I have a little white on that side. So I'm going to shave it just a little bit on that side as well now. Be good. All right, now I'm going to put glue on the bottom section. So only the bottom section here, not this top section, just the bottom. There you are. And then I'm going to line it up on the top and with the fold. And then I'm just going to close my card on it and just give it a second to set up. Remember, we're using liquid glue. Now, if you chose to use like Tombow or score tape or tear-in tape, you're not going to have to wait this long. But liquid glue holds up in all weather conditions and doesn't fall apart. So, all right, so that's done. Now I'm going to take glue and put glue just on this section here. And I'm going to fold my card again. And I'm going to hold it. And this mat is, this glass mat is magnetic. So I'm going to actually stick that there so that while that's drying, I can put my pin back in my glue. I can bring my stamps over here and clean them up. I like to I keep a flour cloth hanging on in my pants pocket when I'm stamping. That way I always have it. Spray a little water on it and I clean my stamps up and they are good to go. And while we are waiting for that to dry, I can put all of my stamps away. And by the time we're done doing this, it should be dry enough where we can open our card and show you the end result. Right. So when we open it, there, see here, and it sits just like this. So I guess you can kind of see how dimensional that is. How cute is that? And what kind of Christmas card? Who wouldn't love a card like that? And it was so easy. So that is our card for November. I hope you enjoyed the process. Sorry I couldn't show you an actual sample before the process, but I have no idea where it went. But I know I nailed the actual design. So thanks for stopping by, and I hope that you have a super day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.